And so when you think about like, what other things, are there any other things that you use, how you use chat at all?
That's how I use the chats. Yeah. For me.
Okay. So that's the main, those are the main ways that it assists you. It assists you in your app. And then it also helps you kind of with your podcast descriptions and things like that. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. And where do you see this technology in the future? I mean, do you see it, replacing jobs, and do you see it as a total positive thing, or do you see maybe some of it as being negative?
No, it's all positive. I'm an optimist for sure. And specifically in the real estate space, one of the things that all of our members, app subscribers are doing is they're trying to find great real estate deals that are off market. They're typically sending mail and getting calls back. But I get a lot of spam calls on my phone, so I'm not sure which one is from a call from my mail or from my from a spam caller. So what I do is I hire a call center that takes the calls, they take notes, and then they tell me when it's time to do that. Now, if you're just getting started out, we're going to have a phone that can replicate your voice and kind of qualify and answer those calls for you. It's going to sound just like you, but it's not going to be you. It's going to be the AI. So that can actually answer your call, ask the right question to the seller, sound like you, and let you know how to and when to take over the conversation if it's a qualified lead. My friend Tiana Lawrence just published a book. She's a venture capitalist, and she uploaded a 60-second clip of her voice, and AI was able to read her entire book. It sounded just like her, man. It's wild. It can do a lot of things. So I think in my, DealMachine hat, that's where it's going. It's going to help answer those calls. So you don't even miss out on deals because you're at the gym or you're sleeping. I mean, it's going to be a truly amazing advancement, I think, for the space.
It's almost like cloning is happening. I mean, we're really kind of getting to this point where, cloning your voice. I mean, matter of fact, it's interesting that you told me that, because just this morning I have a coaching program called Wealth on the Beach Club. And every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we get a bunch of people on and we talk about all kinds of things, when it comes to sales and marketing and building brand and, building processes in the company and all that. A lot of business owners are on there. And one of the guys, he actually got on and he showed me that, you just type into this app. I forget what the app was, but, he types in this app and it's his voice. And so he was actually literally just this morning showing me
same thing.
That same thing. And you just type in whatever you want it to say, and it's saying it in your voice. What app are you using? What app are you talking about?
Well, I'm not sure which app Tiana used, but I was speaking of a feature that DealMachine would have in the future that would answer our customers' phones for them.
Okay, gotcha. And but is that available right now? Like, could you set that up right now? Is that possible, or that's just what you foresee that in the future?
I foresee that. Correct.
Gotcha. Well, it's coming, dude. It's coming, man. For sure, it's coming. All right, the free house story. Tell me about that, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a free house is pretty easy to come by if you find a good enough deal, but I got to break it down because somebody's going to be like, what are you talking about? So the first free house that I ever got was some house I saw with the gutter falling off, and I sent, a postcard to them and put it on repeat once a month. And the postcard just said, I'm interested in purchasing your house. If you're interested, call or text me. I can close quickly with cash. 7 months later, I got a call from a man, and he said he'd like an offer. It was his parents' house, and his last parent passed away. So I came in there, and they were a hoarder. The walls were weirdly yellow, and I saw it was like probably worth 160 in perfect condition. I offered like 55 because I knew I was redoing everything in this house. Before I closed, I was gonna get a contractor in there to validate my estimate for the repairs. And he pointed out that the walls are yellow because they were heavy smokers. And if you moved a painting, you were going to see like a huge demarcation line. And I almost lost my stomach. But then he's like, you probably need $10,000 to professionally seal this or to replace the drywall and do it right. So I came back to the son and I was like, this is where I'm at. I don't know how to say this because I know you're trying to close out. He had debts on his parents' estate that he needed to close out. He ended up doing the deal. I didn't have a ton of money. I found that there was a company called SoFi, SOFI, that would do $100,000 loan unsecured as long as you had a decent credit score and a W-2 job. So I got $100,000, bought this house, fixed it up. And by the time I got the mortgage, and it appraised for 160, but I only had 120 in it. So I got, 120 back and 25% equity, like I made a down payment, but I didn't. I got the house back. And then I put a tenant in there who's paid the mortgage payment that I've had, then some, every single month. So it's got a 30-year note, but it's also appreciated like 225 now. It's cash flow every month. The mortgage has been handled by the tenant, and that 120 I came to pay back SoFi, and so paid that loan off. So that's what I would call a free house.
Yeah, sounds like it to me, man. Are you ever, are you thinking about, do you ever do like multifamily or big apartment buildings or anything? I mean, are you just really, single family, most of the time?
Yeah, I've only done single family, and
Okay.
those are pretty cool. I haven't done it. It would be a new thing for me to learn, but I've really made the decision to stick with what I know for now, at least, and at least get me to 20 houses. Cause I think focus, every time I have focused, it's been better than getting shiny object syndrome and throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So I just kind of want to exploit the knowledge and experience that I have by just doing more of what I know right now.
So what are some strategies that you have for uncovering those badass deals that you get?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I just made a list the other day of 25 motivated seller lists and which ones you should approach them in what order. And it's episode 78 on the DealMachine podcast. It's important for me to order them because it's hard to pick if you don't have any direction. And the first one is how I describe the driving for dollars. The reason why that's so great is it is free. It forces you to learn your neighborhood by driving around and seeing homes. And it's low cost to market to that list because big time investors will not put in the time to make that list. Big time investors will blanket all the absentee owners. And so they're not marketing to these distressed homes because they have to put that down. So it's less marketing you have to send in order to get a deal, and you can buy it deeper because there's less investors reaching that person. So great way to start. And as you start to scale, like the next one would be go to your county and pick the tax delinquent list that you can download and send them mail. I just had recently done that, 1,700 properties in Indianapolis that didn't pay their taxes in the month of August. And I got a call. I was on the treadmill at the time. I was like, I'll call it later. But then I was like, no, that feels like procrastination. I'm just going to answer it on the treadmill. The guy was just like, hey, I bought these properties 2 years ago. The guy who was advising me never did the rehab. And so they've just been sitting there, and I'm making too much money at my medical practice to spend the time pulling my hair out more on these properties. So he bought this one for 200. He owed 180. I couldn't buy it for more than 160, and he sold it to me. He brought $20K to the table to close it for me. So those are definitely two ways. And if you guys want more, I would check out that episode 78, 25 motivated seller leads of the DealMachine pod.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video and you want to watch another clip, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.